here with me now is a collaborator with James Patterson, of all people, and an award-winning author in his own right. 12 novels, including his latest, The Black Book, Chicago attorney, and author David Ellis. Did I get the order right? Are you an author or an attorney first?
I'm an attorney first, but an author is a very, very close second.
I wondered because I read that you once said you weren't sure what you were going to be when you grow up, and I wondered, like, how would you like to be remembered, as a writer or as a lawyer?
I'm still trying to decide what I want to be when I grow up. I would like to be remembered as a good father to my children, and
Touché.
And besides that, I'm playing games with both of them. I love being a lawyer. I love being an author. Neither one feels like work to me. I hope I can keep doing both of them as long as I'm alive.
Well, so do we, the readers. I just brought up the name James Patterson. I mean, obviously, most people who read know who James Patterson is. How did you get hooked up with him?
Well, when I was coming out with my first novel, I did what a lot
Line of Vision.
Line of Vision. I did what a lot of first-time novelists do. We reach out to big-name authors and ask them if they'll review the book and give us a little blurb. Jim agreed to do it. And James Patterson agreed to do it, and he was very nice. And I think he always kind of remembered that book. And years later, he was having lunch with my agent, and my name came up, and he said, "I remember Line of Vision." And Jim can remember things from like 10 years ago. He could remember the plot verbatim. And they said, "Hey, maybe this is something that you could collaborate together." And so Jim called me, and he said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Look, it's an honor to be asked, but I have to tell you, Jim, my books are not like yours. I don't know how to write a James Patterson novel." And he said something I'll never forget. He said, "We're not writing a James Patterson novel. We're writing a James Patterson and David Ellis novel." And I thought, now that's about the coolest thing he could have said. You know, he said, "I want to bring your experiences in, and I want us to mix and see what happens. And I think it'll be fun." And it's been very fun.
And it's been fun for the readers. I started reading your new book, The Black Book.
Yes.
Which is the Black Book, like you might think, a black book with information that shouldn't be available. And you use Chicago almost as a character because you bring in the seedy politics and the untoward behavior by church hierarchy. That's such an open playing field when you're writing, I imagine.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons Jim wanted to set it in Chicago, because he knew that I was from Chicago. He knew I was slightly involved with the political world, slightly involved with the criminal justice world, and he thought there's a lot we can do here. We can talk about a sex scandal that might take down the highest echelon of Chicago power. We can talk about corruption in the police department. We can have a murder mystery, and we can wrap all that up with really what is a love triangle, really a love story at its core, which is, I think, what makes this book so great, is he takes all of those scintillating, enticing elements, but at bottom, I think, in some ways, he thinks of this as a love story.
Well, you have had a little experience with the law because
Yes.
you were the lead prosecutor in the impeachment in Springfield of Blagojevich, Governor Rod Blagojevich. We remember him.
Yes.
I remember when I was a reporter here and his name first cropped up, but I wasn't even sure I was going to be able to pronounce it. And then it just becomes like second nature, Blagojevich, because we unfortunately said it so many times. How big a role did that event play in who you are today as a writer?
Well, it's certainly, if my eyes were not already opened to the corrupting influences of politics, they were open after that. I would venture to guess that Rod Blagojevich was not born an evil person, and he probably does not think of himself as an evil person. But I think he got corrupted by the politics and by the power players around him. I think it takes a strong person to hold an office like that and to be able to resist some of the temptations. I don't think he was able to do that.
Has it been done successfully here yet?
Well, it has.
What's the line of people who have been in jail?
We have put 4 governors in prison. Dan Walker, I think, really not so much related to his time as governor, but then we had, of course, someone from a long time ago, and then recently, of course, George Ryan and Rod Blagojevich. But, you know, we've had some good people. There are good people. And, you know, what I take away from the impeachment is not just cynical. I'm a healthy cynic, no question, but I would also say that there was a lot of hope. I saw a lot of people at that time who really wanted to make Illinois a better place and really wanted things to improve after Blagojevich. We passed all sorts of reforms, and I think I took away some hope that there are people out there trying to make the world a better place.